What up, YouTube? Asian Persuasion here with my boy Slim. You already know. And then we are here with Top 32 Duelists, Day 2, Winamax.
What? Oh my god.
Dude, introduce yourself and what were you playing, Alyse?
My name's Alyse Davis. I copied Cody's homework and played Tier Danger.
Oh, nice. I like copying Cody's stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he does some weird shit, but this event, he got it good. It was a nice deck.
yeah, he's still in Top Cut, so obviously something worked out. You guys are both
Yeah,
up there.
I'm hoping he gets the dub, especially because it's his birthday weekend, so
Oh, yes.
he deserves it.
Yeah, you want to do shout-outs before you want to...
Yeah, first shout-out obviously goes to Cody. He just, gave me the list after he spent, a million hours testing it, and I really appreciate the help. He's a homie, obviously. Shout out to my sponsor, Fitting Accessories. Use code FITTING5 for 5% off your entire purchase. Shout out to Ethan over there. It's Celestial.
That kind of nice.
Accessories, whatever. My second sponsor. He didn't give me any shiny cards this weekend, but it's okay. But for shiny cards, I did get. Shout out to Pack for giving me ulti super polys. Shout out to TG Gaming, my hometown local. They're awesome. Gave me some max rarity cards I needed for the decks, and also a duster that I forgot to bring to day one. But it's okay. We instead got a $100 one, so it's fine. And then shout out to all my friends that helped me get cards to the event. Ling, Kyle, Alan, always help with testing. Shout out to Jib, even though he knocked me out of Top Cut, because he also helped me test for the event and learn things that are good for this format. So appreciate that. Shout out to my girlfriend Brooke for being amazing. She got to judge this YCS and she's enjoying it. So and shout out to best head judge ever, good old Richard Simpson.
That's my dad. I love that guy.
Yeah, we can just get straight into it then.
Let's see it. Let's see the goo.
So played 3 Rhino, 3 Sheeran, 3 Havness, 3 Merly, 3 of all the names. You have to. These cards are way too good. You always want to see them, blah, blah, blah.
They all do the same tier thing.
And the Danger Engine isn't too big. It's 3 Nessie, 1 Jackalope, 1 Tsuchinoko, and 1 Bigfoot. So the theory behind these is it just lets you, as opposed to playing Bistal cards, which, don't really function as, great extenders on turn 1, it lets you fully make a good board as opposed to kind of having to be a little bit more passive and wait, and it lets you get in curious lines better, which guarantees you multiple traps. Plus, with the new spells and traps we get from this set, it works better with those so that you can fix your hands a lot easier. So I think it just allows you to have a lot more access to things. And then there's no level 4 danger in here, but we do play a millable 4 called Night Sword Serpent. When it's sent to graveyard by card effect, just summons itself back, and it's water, so you can make a Bahamut. Card's pretty nice. And that is it for all the main deck monsters. There's no hand traps, and I'll kind of get into that in a minute. But for spells, got 3 Perlerino and 1 Terraforming. Weird. And the new cards, 3 Scream and 1 Heartbeat. Scream's insane. I don't understand how people don't want to play 3 of this card. Literally, I always want to see 1 into my opening hand and mill 1 off of my 15-20 mills I'm going to have for that turn. There's no reason why I do not want to have this card in rotation. Just, again, we keep talking about trap cards, but it's just those cards are insane. Solid Crime? Why not? But it also just gives you more interaction points during your opponent's turn because it triggers off of your opponent summoning 2. So and then lowering their stuff by 500 is pretty nice. And then the 1 Heartbeat, it is mainly just to add back a trap from grave. So it lets you mill your Sulik and then add it back, and then you can just focus on adding Crime off of the Scream or something. So hard activating it only comes up once or twice, but you always this is one of the main cards you send off Curious, because usually you'll mill a Sulik and then add back and then send this add the Sulik back. So it's really good utility factor. And then like I said, about no hand traps, but we do play board breaking cards instead with 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Super Poly. So as far as not wanting hand traps, so the theory was that basically the Dangers took the place of the Bistals, which would have been in the list, but the Bistals, what I noticed through this tournament when I got Bistaled is usually they needed 2 to really hard stop me and make me really regret everything, and but otherwise they kind of were subpar, and without hard focus on tier, which I don't think this event was a hard tier event. There was a lot of tier, but there's still a lot of other decks. The Bistals have less value overall in the long run, so it just made more sense not to play them. And then with having so few main deck going second cards, you kind of just want the good ones, and Super Poly's the only one that can out Dweller. And then Dark Ruler just takes care of every other deck, so otherwise, with a low hand trap count, you want everything to be more impactful as possible. So these cards just made sense. And then played 1 instant, 1 foolish, 1 called by, 1 upstart. Cody always tries to bully everyone into playing this card, and I don't know. I don't think there was a 40th card that would have been better. So 39 cards is nice. And then for the traps, 2 Sulic, 1 crime. This is main deckable now because you can like so much easily search it, and like there's so many like so often you end on Sulic crime. So I think it's just too nice. Plus with like pistols, having crime sent to grave is like still really good. And that's it for the main deck 40 cards. Let's go.
Easy.
And then for extra deck, only play 1 Kalos. So it just was the fact that like room is just devoted to other things, and then since you always make the Rue Kalos, you always like get the Kit Kalos back in rotation. So it's usually fine. It's only come up like once or twice where I wish I had the second kit, but I usually found a way to play around it, and it usually is never too big of a problem. Cody never missed it, so that's what it is. And then yeah, Rue Kalos is obviously good. Kleido, standard, and then Garura, Mudragon, and Dragonshield. Nothing special there. And for links, we got the Elf, Sprind, Dark Charmer, Curious, Apo, and Underworld Goddess. So Underworld Goddess, there was just like no other like better link that was gonna help deal with like those problematic cards like that. So it just made the most sense to play that as opposed to other things. And like there's very easy ways to like just get into this, still have a lot of monsters, and be able to go for games. So it's really nice to have. Curious is one thing that a lot of like tier decks aren't gonna be playing right now if they're playing a lot of pistols, because you can't like as easily Curious with them. So being able to make Curious a lot easier in this deck because of the dangers is really nice. So yeah. And Apo is like the card I made the least, but I think you still need to have it because like going Curious into Apo is still like a really big thing. So yeah, it is nice. And then for the XYZs, 1 Dweller, 1 Bahamut, 1 Toad. Yeah, you go into this so much easier now with the Night Sword, and like this is what I make blind because it's just better blind, and yeah, these cards are good though.
Now this deck's summoning Toad on me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Toad is well, plus like getting back to the Rhino is always really good, and like one other cool thing that exists now with Rue Kalos existing is so Rue Kalos makes it so other Aquas can't be destroyed by battle on your side of the field. So your Toad gets protected. So if they try and like get rid of it before they make a play, they just can't, and they just cry.
Yeah, I would cry if I tried to attack.
But for the side deck, only played 2 Sphere Mode. I wish there was a third, but we made the concession to either play 3 of this or 3 Mine, and just felt like the Mine was going to be better overall. I'll get into the Mine in a second, but I wish it was a 3rd Sphere Mode. And 1 Ladybug, Weird Time.
Weird.
And then 3 Mystic Mine, weird. People clapped when I activated this in the feature, but every time I activated this card, I lost that game. So this card is like pretty average, but like it in theory makes the most sense again with like low, like no hand traps and like board breaking, and like it's just the card that made the most sense. But I think I don't know what it could have been otherwise, but not mine. But probably still could have been, I don't know. And then for back removal, double Cosmic, 1 Duster. It was a 3rd Cosmic originally, but just having the blowout's really nice. And then 3 Evenly, but this card goes against like every deck now. Weird. Then last card in the side deck is 3 Skill Drain. So Cody wanted some form of Floodgate in the deck still, and Eradicator doesn't really work in this version of the deck because we're playing Dangers, not Pistols, and Pistols really thrive well off Eradicator. So the next best thing that we could think of was, or that he thought of, was Skill Drain, just because it stops everything but the Tier Mirror, and your main deck is already catered enough to beat the Tier Mirror that like just having that blowout against every other deck is still just really nice to have. So yeah, card was decent. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile.
Awesome. Sure. Awesome. Well, congratulations on getting the day 2 winner, at least. Hey.
One day I'll break the curse.
You'll break it. It was in your backyard. I'm proud of you doing very well at this event.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the deck profile.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.